Viewer discretion advised. Cold open. 000 December 11th, 1987. A young mother vanishes from her Nebraska home. Her trail goes cold in less than 12 hours. Her car sits abandoned outside a local hospital. Her 2 young children are asleep inside her house, and her husband claims he has no idea where she went. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how a simple night out spiraled into one of the most baffling missing persons cases Nebraska has ever seen. How decades later, her family and investigators still search for answers, and how real forensic evidence almost cracked the case. Setup: 30 Christi Nichols was 23, a mother of 2. She lived just outside Walt Hill, Nebraska, with her husband Mark and their children. That December, the small town had already begun
winding down for the holidays. Everyone knew everyone. That's what made her disappearance so chilling. On the night of December 10th, Christi and Mark drove to a bar in nearby Decatur. They weren't there long. Bartenders later said they seemed tense, more like strangers than a married couple. By 1 a.m., Mark claims they were back home. The details get fuzzy here, and that's where the official timeline starts to unravel. The morning of December 11th, Mark wakes and says Christi was gone. Her car, parked in front of the Winnebago hospital nearly 20 miles away. Inside the car, no sign of struggle. Her purse left behind. No Christi. But nobody in the hospital saw her arrive. So where did Christi go? Rising action 200. The search kicked off immediately. State police, volunteers, even the FBI scoured icy fields and riverbanks. Despite the blizzard conditions, searchers found nothing. No footprints, no discarded clothing, no blood. Christi seemed to have vanished into thin air. Investigators turned their attention to the person who last saw her, Mark Nichols. Officially, Mark told police they came home together, argued, then Christi left to clear her head. But neighbors said they never saw her at home that night. As suspicions deepened, Mark's story shifted, a key red flag for detectives. First, he said he hadn't seen her after midnight. Later, he suggested she might have been seeing someone else behind his back. Police asked, how did Christi's car get to the hospital with no witnesses? And why was her wedding ring placed on the car dashboard, almost like a signal? As the days passed, the Nichols children, ages 2 and 5, became the center of a custody battle. Mark maintained Christi left voluntarily, but her friends insisted she'd never abandon her family. The Nichols' life together, it seemed, was anything but picture perfect. Complications: 400. Here's where it gets interesting. Forensic teams discovered faint traces of blood in the trunk of Christi's car, minute quantities too small to test with 1980s technology. Lab technicians filed the sample away, hoping advances in science would someday unlock its DNA. For investigators, suspicion kept circling back to Mark. His alibi had holes, and he refused polygraph tests. Still, there was no body, no murder weapon, and no eyewitnesses. The Nichols' home, now a crime scene, offered little else. Carpets and walls tested negative for blood. There were no defensive wounds found in her car, no strange tire tracks. But in 1996, nearly a decade later, forensic labs reanalyzed the blood with improved DNA methods. It matched Christi's genetic fingerprint, but yielded no match to anyone else, still not enough for an arrest. The case was officially cold. Meanwhile, Mark Nichols remarried and left Nebraska, fueling rumors and resentment in the small town. Christi's mother, Elizabeth Evans, never stopped searching. Billboards went up across 3 states, with no new leads, only more questions. Through the early 2000s and 2010, amateur sleuths and professional investigators revisited the case, but nothing new emerged, until a 2022 podcast featured a retired detective's anonymous tip. Mark once confessed off the record to a local minister, but no physical evidence linked him to a crime. Climax: 600. In late 2025, a new forensic platform powered by AI reanalyzed archived evidence from thousands of cold cases, including the Nichols file. For the first time, trace DNA found on the ring and car steering wheel, overlooked for decades, revealed an additional unidentified male profile. The sample didn't match Mark Nichols, nor anyone in the National DNA Index. That single finding shattered the long-held belief that only Mark could be responsible. It also reignited local speculation about a possible kidnapping or outside party. But the real surprise is coming. Resolution: 700. The case remains unsolved as of March 2026. The unidentified DNA sample, while intriguing, has never been matched to a suspect. For Christi's family, the agony continues. There's hope a DNA breakthrough or new witness might finally end the decades-old mystery. For true crime investigators, the Nichols case is a painful example of how an ordinary life can simply vanish, and how evidence can be both revealing and maddeningly incomplete. If you like this, watch our full breakdown of the Grimsley Highway disappearance, another unsolved case where forensic details change everything. Subscribe for next week's Cold Case AI story. Every case has a story. AI tells it. End.